Hello and welcome to Off Track, sponsored by Noble Dude Clothing. I'm your host, Dave Neal, and well, it's almost getting into the realms of co-host territory as Davey Todd returns with his performance coach, Sam Yassin, to chat about the season so far and what's been happening since Davey's last appearance back at the TT. We also have a brief appearance from Junior Supersport contender, Canadian Jack Roach. Don't forget to give us a follow on the socials. Search for Off Track and Off Track Podcast at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok and YouTube. Please, for the love of God, no more social media platforms. They're enough just doing those. Don't forget to give us a like, a follow and share the love. So without further ado, it's back to Snetterton with Davey, Sam and Jack. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to Off Track. I'm your host, Dave Neal, and I'm absolutely delighted to say, returning to the show, Davey Todd, Sam Yassin. Boys, welcome back.
Evening, Dave.
Thank you very much, mate. It's nice to be back.
It is. It's your hat trick.
No, 100%. It's second time we've been on together,
Yeah.
and then third time on as well. Becoming a regular. We should book in like regular slots now from now on.
Mate, you can come on anytime you like. You know that.
Salary.
Yeah.
Oh, salary now you're talking.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, thanks, mate. Look who's the rider coach and kind of manager side of things. It's like, hang on a minute. Here we go.
Buys me dinner.
Now you're talking.
There'll be a percentage coming in at something like this at some point. Here we are, Snetterton. It's not been the best of days. Sun of Snet, been a bit of rain about, and obviously the news of yesterday it's made a bit of a strange day, really, because we can't do the socials the way that we did, and for obvious reasons. But for motorcycle racing, we still go on. It's a different way of doing things, we know, but we're here. That's the main thing. And Davey, talk us through your day so far.
Yeah, well, it definitely didn't start off on the right foot. With the weather conditions that we've had today has been a bit here and there. I don't even know how to describe it. It was raining 1 minute, then the sun come out, and I was like, okay, we're gonna have a good rest of the day. The local guy in the team, Wayne, said, "Oh, I live around here. We definitely not see rain for our first session. It won't rain for another hour." He said, "Trust me, I know. I live 5 minutes away." And I set off back to the motorhome to get changed, and I was wet before I got back, so that didn't go to plan. It come down really heavy. Did an outlap, come straight back into the pits, seen 4 crashes on my outlap, and thought for FP1 it's probably best to sit this one out. The track was green, it's early on in the day. The track's always green, but it was very green this morning, so just said we'll sit it out. The conditions for tomorrow look better for qualifying, and they definitely look better for Sunday for the race. So going out and risking damaging yourself, damaging the bike, isn't the top of the priority list. So we did the sensible thing, which isn't like me. Sensible thing.
You're maturing, you know that, don't you? You're actually, I think. No, I wasn't going to say that. All I was going to say is,
getting older.
It's official that Davey Todd is maturing.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that. I'm not sure.
I'm
going to have to do something.
Spend enough time with him. I still think he's a little child.
Yeah, I'm not that mature. But make the right decisions. I think it's just more when the team boss is looming over you, going, if you throw the bike up the road at FP1 after you've already come in after your first lap and said, "I've seen 4 crashes, it's really slippy," if you went back out and crashed, put it down the road, you're not going to make the team a happy bunch. And I want to keep that on the right side of them guys. They do a lot of good work for me. I don't want to give them any extra work that's unnecessary. So yeah, it was a little bit sensible, but I did stand on the barrier of pit lane and watch the full session, like itching to get out there, to be honest, watching people ride around, even in those conditions. If it was sleeting, snowing, there's a thick layer of snow on the track, and somebody was out there, I'd still want to be out there racing them. So it's there's never a time really I don't want to be out there riding. I know a lot of people don't like riding in the wet, but I just like riding my motorbike no matter what the condition. So it was hard not to, but it was the right decision, to be honest.
The season sitting on the short circuits, will come to the roads and Sam's input on that side in a little while. The Cadwell Park, and we said this, I saw you after the race, and you're like, second again. It's becoming, there's a bit of a pattern forming that will change sometime soon. It has to. And if it's this weekend, then fantastic. It's a testament to how you've come on this season, I think, from where we were when we spoke at Donington with that maiden podium, and then to now be a consistent podium man. That win is just around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. We did say the same thing sort of after the start of the season, and we had a great Northwest, but we finished second 4 times. Was competitive in others as well, where we had mechanicals, but finished second 4 times, and you're like, you're gutted. Like, if someone had told you you'd have had all them results beforehand, I think you'd have been over the moon, but after you get second 4 times and that close to the win in every race, you're like, I want to win now. But the wins did come after with a road racing, and we've had a really good year. On the roads with those results in the Northwest. My first podium at the TT, even after the week we'd had. And then moved on to Armoy, the Southern, and won a lot of races at the events after that. So it's been really good, and to do that on top of what we've been doing at BSB and been on the podium week in, week out, and it's really good because a few people have said to me before Cadwell and before each round, how is this track for you? Does this track suit you? Does it suit the bike? And I honestly, in my mind, I'm like, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, every track we're good now. It's not whether one suits a bike or suits me, and we're not reinventing the bike at every round either. We're riding the same bike, and the team are doing a great job getting that in the right position. But for me, I have this new confidence in myself that I know wherever we go and whatever track we arrive at, we're going to be there or thereabouts, whatever the conditions, whether it's wet or dry, and we're going to be there or thereabouts, whether practice, qualifying, in the race. And like you say, not got that elusive win
on
this season on the short circuits, but 6, 7 podiums now, I think.
Been off it more than been on it.
Yeah, definitely. So it's running second in the championship, not far back of the lead, well within a shout with 6 races to go yet. I'm liking the look of the back half of the season, with all the races we've got coming. I like the tracks that we've got coming. I like everywhere, and I enjoy everywhere we go. But at the start of the year, if someone had asked me which tracks you're going to struggle at, there'd have maybe been a couple in there with Knockhill and Thruxton. I've only ever been there once, and it was a long time ago, 2016, on a 600, and I thought, maybe I'll struggle there a little bit, and I thought I'd struggle at Alton Park, as other Hondas seemed to struggle there a little bit, but went there at round 2 and stuck it on the podium. So we're definitely proving that my own theory wrong. And I just feel confident now wherever we go, we're going to be in the mix, and that's a good place to be. As long as we're in the mix and fighting for it, I'm excited.
Absolutely no reason for that to change across the rest of the season. We'll come on to Armoy a little bit, because that's something that fascinates me. I want to know a little bit more about Armoy, and we've also got Scarborough around the corner as well. But we'll come on to those shortly. If we come on to Sam and give Sam a bit of a chance to come in. Welcome back, mate. How are you?
Thanks, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, really good.
Better if it was a bit brighter in the day at the moment. Snetterton normally does as well. We've come into.
Well, I had this conversation today.
I think the sky's morning Queenie.
Yeah, I think possibly so. Normally you come here and it's redders, so
it's lovely.
We're in the best part of the day now with the blue skies. We're not doing so bad. How's the Davies progress been for you this season, and your input into his mindset and coaching and where he is now?
Honestly, I think it's a testament to how just great he's been on the bike this year. He's never needed me less. Honestly, it's funny because everything we spoke about in February and everything we kind of wanted to talk into fruition, and we knew that was possible with him having a full season with Paget's and with Clive's support and everyone's sort of understanding, and now he's really had a time to gel and he's had a full year to go at everything that he's done this year we knew he was capable of, exactly like we said on the podcast. So it's kind of been a sat there with a cup of tea Kermit moment for me, because everything I've known he's capable of and told everyone for years, he's sort of come in and proven. So it's no surprise to us, but it's just been nice to see it all come into fruition. Obviously, the main change for me, for my input and involvement, is I've been at the roads with him this year. So that was I don't want to use the word harrowing experience, because obviously it was an incredible experience, and it's definitely something that anyone that's into motorbikes should experience. But
so your first time at the TT?
Yeah, it's just a little bit different having one of your best friends doing it. I think that's the problem.
That's an interesting one. Okay, just we'll come back to, just while that's fresh in my mind. Tell me about your personal feelings of the TT. How did you find it? Because it's one of those incredible places that's very personal.
Yeah.
To whoever's there.
I think the only way that you can explain it to people who haven't been or experienced it, whether that's on a spectator point of view or a family, friend, client, coach, whatever your involvement is a roller coaster. Because it's incredibly exciting and visceral when you get there. It appeals to
Write that down. I'm going to use that word, visceral. Write that down for me.
Nice word, that, visceral. Visceral. I don't know how to explain the word visceral without using visceral in it.
It's raw.
It's like
raw
the
emotion.
first time you go in like a crazy supercar or something, and it just kicks the
life out of you.
Kicks the crap out of all of your senses. Like, you feel like you're being abused from all angles. Yeah, it's one of those, like, you go through the whole range of everything, Like, I landed at the airport. Davey's taxis came and picked me up. Half an hour, 40 minutes late, obviously.
It's within 60.
Always. If he's within 60, I'm happy, really, because I've budgeted for that. I've probably got some work to do, some reading, some knitting.
It's like doing this tonight. I didn't expect him to be sat here waiting. I knew it was going to be half an hour or so.
Yeah.
I tell you, I'm pit lane early. I didn't say that.
I knew you'd admit. It's fine. That's
you were at least 5 minutes late.
But that's anything for you. It doesn't matter if we're doing a podcast. That's anything.
What are the chances that there's another Niesman Bischoff part next door?
Yeah, I knocked on the wrong door.
And he's gone in the wrong one.
I didn't walk in, obviously I knocked first. You did say it was one of these, and
no hat on the door.
It's a good point. Yeah, if there's a hat on the door, you don't go in.
So he's picked me up from the airport anyway. I'm obviously excited to be there and seeing what's going to unfold and whatever, and we've driven a fair bit of the circuit on the way back to the camper and stuff, and it's all very exciting. And then I think when you stay separated from the start line, everything is fine. It's all exciting, it's all cool to watch. I went out with Diesel Dave and Joel's, which is Davey's dad and brother, and we went up to the Craig. So my first experience was rolling up to the Craig pit board. Quite a windy day. By the time I'd got there, the weather had turned quite a bit. So we've gone up to the Craig. He's out in Supersports, he's out on the 600. So I've gone up to the bank with them, and it's all normal, and then boom, first bike comes by, and I'm like, what the That's you always remember your first experience, right? Of how you could literally just fall over that bank.
Yeah, easy could.
Oh, we got a guest. Guess for it. You get in here. Get in if you want. You better say hello to everyone though.
Too live.
Canadians.
I guess that was Jack Roach that's just turned up.
So I'm on the Craig at this point. The pit board's almost blown away. Dave's holding Joel like over the bank, and like I'm like, what is going on? What is this? So anyway, I think you came by. So what were you, number 8?
Yeah.
So there's a few people. We missed a few people on the way up there. And I'm flying up the mountain. Bearing in mind as well, I couldn't even get in the car with the pit board. So I've gone all the way up to the Craig, hanging out the window, because I couldn't get in with it. So I've got my whole top half of the torso hanging out all the way, so like through Douglas, all these country roads. I'm like hanging out. So I'm already like, this place is crazy, but it's fine. Like, no alcohol's been consumed. It's all pretty normal. And then we get to the point where, obviously, every time someone starts coming round, you hear them, but you can hear 2. I can't remember whether you'd caught someone up. Who was running 7? I think you'd caught someone up already on that first section of.
Was it in practice?
It was in practice, yeah.
So you can go in any order. So
right.
It's not necessarily off number 8.
You came through with someone, so 2 of them have just absolutely
set off like 18th to 20th.
Right, okay.
Practice.
They're both absolutely striped the bank. And at this point, I've sat next to two, I think it was like a little Yorkshire couple, and they're sat there sort of just minded. They're regulars, they're not even bothered. They just sat there eating their picnic, and there's just people coming by, just taking the hair off his legs, and he's just not asked in the slightest. So I'm sat there and I'm waiting. I'm like, boom, boom. I'm just like, how is this still allowed? Like, how is this still allowed? But then it's your mate going by at this point, and then you're watching him going all the way down, and you're like, what? Like, what's wrong with this guy? I didn't know he was mentally like disturbed. Like, I knew he was like a little bit unhinged, because I've seen him doing all sorts of stuff, and I've ridden mountain bikes with him and stuff. And when you see him going by and doing that, you're like, okay, this guy's, he needs sectioning.
It's there's sometimes it's a mixture of pride and disbelief.
Yeah.
It's like, there's Davey, he's so cool. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, it's just. But at this point, still, I was like, that's cool. I like that. Like, wow. And then it goes by, and then we get round to, I can't remember whether. Obviously, then there's the ugly side of the TT comes out, and there's stuff that happens, and news gets filtered through, and we've gone and done loads of fun things as well. Gone for dinner in a few places, and we've gone and destroyed our arms on Shell Beach, throwing shells for about 3 hours, and thinking he ain't even going to be able to ride. He's got that. That might be why you've got a tennis elbow. Is it the other arm? Okay, yeah. And I've seen you throw your left arm as well, so you definitely weren't throwing shells with that. Yeah, literally. So then there's plenty of other stuff that goes on in the week and whatever, and it's a great time. It's a great time. Probably
too good a time sometimes.
Yeah. It's absolutely, it's a unique place. Everyone obviously knows that's been. It's just very unique, and the whole feel of the island and whatever. It's very, very cool place. But then it comes around to obviously the serious stuff, and I think it was the senior? I think had the senior been reduced?
No. Super Sport got reduced.
Super Sport got removed.
Was Super Stock 3 laps as well with a mandatory? I can't remember.
I think
Senior was one of the few that went for the full duration.
Yeah, because obviously there was
first Superbike race was
6 laps.
Yeah, it was.
That was 6 laps. Okay, so at this point then,
I did 6.
Don't talk about that.
It was for the senior. It was for the senior because I went on the grid for the senior, and I would say. I've not been to every single large motorsport event in the world, but I've been to a few, and there is nothing that visceral as standing on that grid whilst they're getting the shoulder tap, and everybody. It's like I've never seen him like that either. Like there's just a different level of sort of focus, and almost it's definitely not like nerves. I don't think I've still ever seen you. I can't describe it, but I didn't like it at all. It's like you can feel everything that he's feeling, and it made me feel sick. And I've never. We literally. I mean, we've nearly missed 2 grids this year, haven't we? And like
fashionably late.
Yeah, no, but seriously, like we've been running through the garage and passing him gloves and helmets as we're on the way to the bike. But credit to Clive, he's the coolest cucumber you've ever seen in your life. He's never even. I expected him to like have a few expletives after he'd gone. He literally just turned to me and we just laughed. He's just the coolest guy in the world. I think he is the coolest guy I've ever met in motorsport.
But it makes Davey who he is.
100%, and that's why it works, because normally you'd get some kind of
there'd be butting heads, or you need to do this.
But as long as he makes it out of that gate at the bottom, he's happy, and he's
with
just
seconds to spare.
Yeah,
literally.
It's like 8 or something. Plenty of time.
At Donington, we had a spare 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is all the time in the world.
Seconds is a long time.
So it couldn't be any more opposite, because we're normally just fanning around and just doing us and doing whatever, but it just wasn't like that at all. And that is I'd say the feeling and the vibe on the grid and before anywhere around where the actual riders are, it's tangible. It's almost like you can feel it. The grid is another level of intensity, in a good way and a bad way. Mainly a bad way.
No, it is. I completely agree. And the regular listeners to the podcast, they know this, and we spoke about this when we were over at the TT. At the start of the Superbike race, I'd been up on the grid most of the week for James going off and doing his thing, and it's a bit different in qualifying and on the evenings. But then you get to the Superbike race and there's more people around, there's more guests around, the helicopter's up and the TV are a little bit more visible and everything kind of changes. And I remember, and it'll never leave me, I've seen a bit over the years with bike racing and everything else, and I've been to the TT before. I got emotional at the start of the Superbike race.
Yeah.
Our chef, Rob, came up and he was at the gate with us, so I was just ahead of the start arch. I'd taken a few pictures and everything else, got ready for it. And the first tap on the shoulder came, and the lump... and
it's like there's a frog living rent-free in your throat.
Absolutely. And Rob, our chef, looked at me and he went, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Mate, no.
Not really, no.
Not even close."
Mate, it's the first time I've shed a tear since the Green Mile. Legit, honestly, walking from that start line...
Let me help you, boss.
It's a horrendous...
Keep doing that, make him cry.
What a sad film.
Great film, love it.
It's just... impalpable, like it's
he's coming out with these words, isn't he? You've been practicing. I don't even know if that's a word, but it'll do.
Vocab.
Impalpable.
Vocab. A-star GCSE English. Language and literature. Check them.
Multi-talented.
He is absolutely
multifaceted character.
Multifaceted.
Oh,
there we go. He's showing up.
This is turning into an episode of like Countdown or something.
He's just glazing over now. He's had a busy day.
I still can't tell you my vowels and consonants. A-E-I-O-U.
Asia,
and the rest
Europe,
of them. There you go.
Africa, they're all the consonants.
Asia and Africa. Impalpable wit from Dave Neal.
I love it. We try.
So, yeah, I don't really know. But then the strange thing is when it's like a dissociation thing from there. It's when you're really close to it, it's horrendous. But the problem is with the family and friends grandstand, you don't get away from it because then every single person in there is fretting and reacting to every single thing that they see on a phone screen. Sectors and people not coming through sectors, and like it's just a constant battle and roller coaster of emotions because I'm used to sitting there and just
every minute
looking
and a half.
at it, and I'm just like, all you want is it to go purple, and you just like you want him to just push his dick off. Excuse my
no, it's a grown-up podcast. It's fine.
But
it wasn't until you walked in.
I couldn't honestly. I couldn't have cared less.
He's 19.
Points.
He looks 12.
I want to know what moisturiser he's using.
None, bro. It's all natural.
It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come. Enjoy it while it lasts. But it's one of those, like, there was points in that race where I couldn't have given a shit if he'd have pulled in, because it's just stressful. That's the only way to describe it. It's just stressful. But when he really, really started turning up the wick and we got into that battle with Connor, then it was like I was ready to start kicking the kickboards through and start waving the towel. Like it was when it was on, like it was on, and then it sort of distracts you enough from the fact that. Because when you see things start coming down, sector times coming down, lap times coming down, speeds going up, then obviously the danger is increasing, and there's just not room for that.
Those sector times are so long.
Yeah,
it's not like being here where it's like 35 seconds or something like that.
You're waiting minutes.
Yeah, 4.5, 5 minutes, and you're like,
you can literally you can feel the ante turn up in the stands as it starts coming down, and it was very strange for us because obviously. We're sat there and it's an inter-garage battle, so we're sat with Connor's family as well, and everyone just wants them both to be okay, but at the same time you're like willing him on.
We want you both to come home, but we want you to come home first.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. And there's no other way to describe it on that last lap. He was just completely and utterly on the pipe. He was pulling the place to pieces and everybody was willing him on, and without that little mishap on the mountain, running into someone touring with both feet off the pegs, then I'm sure things would have been different, you know. And I'm not taking anything away from anyone else. It's incredible ride from Connor as well. I absolutely love Connor. We had an incredible night with Connor that night as well, and he does the best Thunderbirds dance I've ever seen in my life, and he's an absolute diamond geezer.
Sorry, go on.
No, it was just one of those things. It was just incredible, and that was just like the absolute pinnacle of the roller coaster of emotions, because it was like it came to this climax where you thought you were going to get that storybook ending, and everything we'd wanted was going to come to fruition, and then to see him afterwards was one of the most devastating things of my career, because he knew obviously I'm biased, but he deserved it.
Oh, 100%.
He deserved it, and he'd done everything that he needed to do to get it.
How did it? We'll come back to you in a minute. We haven't forgotten about you. You just mull over the words that we're doing. You have one of the ones.
I'm just learning. I'm learning. It's like an English
It's education for you, this one, mate. I tell you now. This is we aim to please. How different is it for you as rider coach, as Davey's training coach, and basically not life, but life coach almost? How different how much did you have to change your approach versus short circuits to the roads? Because obviously it was new for you as well.
Do you know what? When I was there, I felt like I was just there as his mate, and I was there.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, that is completely how it felt, because he in a sense of physical stuff, there's nothing I can do for him when we're there. I can try and stop him falling to pieces, but he was in great physical condition all week, and he'd ridden so much, and he's almost actually had too much bike time now this year. There's a story I'll tell you at the end of the season, but the amount I've actually been able to do for him this year has been so limited, because he's spent so much time on a bike, and the next time he's on a bike is too close really for him to hammer himself, other than doing base cycles, trying to look after the shoulder a little bit, trying to help him arrange things. I've basically just been there as his mate. We've just had an arm around each other really, and that is completely, I don't know about you, but in terms of the only thing you'd have got from me really in that week was just a shoulder, you know. We were just sort of there for each other mentally. At times I probably felt like I needed him more than he needed me, to be honest.
Yeah, who was the
I was
support?
thinking, why am I here? Like, I feel like I need a cuddle.
It is that kind of place.
I've never experienced anything like it, and I can't wait to go back next year and take what I feel like is ours now.
You're not even going to take credit for the physical conditioning, the physical conditioning that had to run basically 2 marathons in practice week.
Yeah, I mean,
off over the mountain, like breaking down, running 5 miles with which I'm already can't run very well, but to run like 5 miles back to somewhere to try and get picked up to get back on the bike later in the session, and still felt awesome. Didn't even sweat.
He plays the trumpet better than me. I'll let him toot the trumpet. I'm not going to sit here and take credit.
I thought as anybody sees of sweat pouring off me and nearly dying, but yeah, that's not easy. If anybody wants a real challenge, wear full riding kit and try and run over uneven mountainous ground.
Plus the amount of bike time in practice week and how long they even spent. Those races are insane. I can't even imagine the mental fatigue. And at the end of the day, yeah, everything that we've done in the last 3 years, although we've not been able to do as much running into the road season this year, everything that we've built a serious base in the last sort of 3 years, and there's been a lot of consistency there, and there's been a lot of foundation building, and a lot of managing of ailments, because he has been really kind to his body, but he has also been quite nasty to it at times, inadvertently. There's another one for you. But yeah, he's picked up some metal, he's picked up some knocks here and there, and most of the time we are managing something or another, you know. The amount of bike time, the amount of physical exertion that they go through, and the main thing is obviously the cognitive and neuromuscular side of concentrating with your life on a knife edge for that long. But in terms of what I can actually do for him when I'm there, everybody has their own routines pre-ride and whatever, but ours is probably the most relaxed really, and he's sort of just always ready and loose. It's just one of those things. Everyone's different, and if we needed to change things, we'd change things, but we're the same now as what we were 2 years ago in terms of what we do to prep and stuff. And we're a little, actually, it's kind of different to my approach. I'm quite proactive with most people, whereas we're quite reactive, because we'll respond to something if he needs it, because with Davey it's kind of like the if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach. So if there's a problem that pops up, we'll either sort personnel to sort of deal with that, or I'll do what I can with it. But we do just have kind of like a very chilled approach, don't we? Really?
Yeah, I honestly think it summed it up really well. Like, and I think it's not only the roads that like you're there as a mate. Like what really works. We know what sort of works for me, and it's sort of the best approach, I feel, because you're looking after not just me while you're race meetings. A lot of riders in a lot of different ways, but we're almost like it's just a couple of mates, like going to have a bit of crack and go racing, and that's great for me, like mentally, not just in the physical sense, like mentally, to be in the right place. And we just have that, I think, absolutely dialed, especially at the minute, where it's just
team dynamic.
Everything's fun, everything's everything's falling into place, everything's going well. But what we've been doing just to keep it fun, enjoying racing, enjoying the build up to everything that we do, and the whole build up to racing and during a race weekend just works perfectly. And I know everybody works differently, but it might be not the usual sort of thing how we would do things, but it works.
We don't sit here and drink White Claws unless it's P1.
Which was in FP2 this afternoon. Cheers, boys. Good job. Now, when I was at the Northwest 200, we had a day off on the Friday. We went down and we looked at the dark hedges, and myself and Jennifer and our good friend Norman Kane went over there, had a look round, see what was going on. And Norman, one of my great friends from Northern Ireland, that's his neck of the woods at Armoy. What? Is he actually...
A toilet break?
It's actually a toilet break?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Terrible.
I'm sat here crossing my legs and thinking, as the host, I can't go anywhere.
You can't, as the host, you can't.
The question is, who's going to empty it, like?
Jack.
Oh, yeah, Jack.
Not the youngest, oldest. Wait, Sam, are you older or is Davey older?
How do you even dare question that?
It's a small break in proceedings,
Guy's got about
ladies and
10
gentlemen,
years.
if you're enjoying
About 10
this.
years on me.
Wow, 10 years.
I'm not even getting into this age
I thought you were out of
conversation.
earshot.
Podcast from the toilet.
And people can still hear him as well, that's the thing. I can't remember which film it was. What film? Austin Powers. When he's... And it's on... No, it doesn't matter.
Don't know.
I can see the way you're looking at me. That
Before my time, I think.
Before your time. Serious. Honestly, you're still half my age, Davey, just about. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, is he nearly done? Anyway, he'll come back in a minute, as I was saying. Because this doesn't involve you anyway, so you just carry on. That's exactly what we're going to do while you do that.
Carry on.
As Norman took us round his neck of the woods, and he has a big affinity for a little race in Northern Ireland called Armoy. And he took us round the Armoy lap in a car.
Did you realise you were even on the track when you were on the track?
Yeah, because Norman was talking us through it, and he said, well, this is where they go. They go left here, they go up the hill, past the church. That run back from the church over the tabletops, and then the left that brings you back to start. How? That looks insane. Tell me about Armoy, because I watched it on the coverage, and I'll ask you about a certain point of that at the end of it. But mate, talk me through Armoy, because it just looks like I say it's insane.
Yeah, it is pretty insane, to be fair, but man, I enjoy it. It's definitely brings me back to my roots of motocross.
It looks like a track that really suits you and suit how you enjoy riding and what you enjoy doing the most.
When you look photos of him, he looks like he's on the wrong surface. It looks like there should be dirt underneath.
Yeah, just to be honest, a lot of people are freaked out by the jumps and stuff like that and get quite nervous about some of the jumps, and I see a lot of people also getting out of shape over the jumps as well. And yeah, there's nowhere I feel like I feel more comfortable than over the jumps. Like it's where I've come from. I grew up with motocross and still love motocross a lot, like at the minute. So yeah, it's a part motocross track, part road race, so it suits me down to the ground. A few really big ball fast corners, that last corner there, and again I love it. Like, it's a scary ass corner, but sixth gear, I think it is, fifth gear, like nearly flat, and the bike's sliding, it's just so fun, and makes me giddy sort of thinking about it, but makes me giddy riding about it. It's one of them places which I get a lot a lot, to be honest, but certainly one of the races that are on the top end of that scale that when I'm riding around, I just got a huge smile on my face, like, because it's just so fun to ride. And honestly, I'm sort of out there seeing how big a jump I can do and stuff like that. No, over the second one, the first one, and you have to land on, like, if you over jump it, which I never seen anybody do, but it's like a jump and then a long flat area and then it goes up another hill and everybody jumps and lands on the flat area. And when I was there last year riding the Wilson Craig bike, I was just taking it flat and like not rolling off at all, but landing on the upside of the jump, and it ended up like smashing the fairings to bits. And by the end of the race of the final, the fairing was in two parts, like it completely just split the belly pan in half.
The one that I was creasing at when it looks like it's completely decked, and
yeah,
on that one, because there's that one on the canvas of when it's not quite as compressed, but there was that one on the Wilson Craig bike at Armoy when it looks like the belly pans.
Oh, that's it. The belly pans there's a big plume of like dust behind, fiberglass behind, where it's like shredding the bike. So I didn't. Not that I wanted to upset Wilson Craig. Like the team done a great job, but. The bike that I went on this year was definitely faster. It was the new Fireblade instead of the old one, and I knew I'd be hitting that jump a lot quicker. And I thought I'm going to land a long way up that hill, and it's going to break something. I don't want to. I want to finish the race. Like I want to finish the session. So I'm like, I don't want to jump as far. So I was rolling off a little bit for that. So I still landed on the flat or just up on the hill a little bit, but not so much. Not so much, but nursing it over that. Yeah, the next one is like on a corner, and most people don't even really jump it. Like they just sort of wheelie down it. It might get a little bit of a jump. And honestly, every lap I'm like, I want to see how far I can get this. Like, see how far I can get
that's
this.
the one I was going to talk to you about.
And that's the one everybody's talking about, because they're not even really, like, seen jumps there before, but not like a little bit off. But I don't know, I just could square it up and it felt normal. It felt like not something that you do on a motocross bike, a little bit maybe. It
was absolutely the definition of full send. I've never seen anything like it.
Squared it up a little bit and give it a big handful of gas, and it was a long downhill after it, so you could jump like nearly as far as you want. But I was getting towards the end. I thought maybe I'm running out the hill.
And when it's like popping up, it's a bit out of hand when it's popping up like in our group chat, and all the rest of the boys are going to him like, "What's wrong with you? Like, are you all right?"
All the other motocross lads, all of them, road race lads, everyone.
He's going on here, and he's like, "Yeah, man, having fun."
And
that's the ethos to it. It's having fun.
I'm not jumping it going, "Oh, I'm really like pushing hard here to get this lap time," or like just trying really hard for a lap time and like getting out hand. I was just like, I'm out there just having a whale of a time. Like just a huge smile on my face, not like showing off in the sense for someone else. I'm like, I just hope someone's got a photo of that so I can take it home and put it on my wall, because every time I look at it, every time I see photos, I'm like, oh yeah, like, it makes me smile, like, because I'm just like, it makes me excited. It's like part of me, who I am. Like, I love bike racing. I love it that much. Like, I'm giddy about riding the bike, everything about the bike. Like, it's fun. And it's not serious to me. Like, it is serious. It's serious as a career, but like, I have to be having fun. If I wasn't having fun, I'd go do something else. Like, it's not a career to me. Like, if I wasn't enjoying it, I wouldn't be doing it. So I'm just out there, like, just wanting to have the most fun I can possibly have on a bike. And obviously, yes, that's the results and doing well. But it's also like stuff like that where I'm trying to do as big a jump as I can.
Do you know what,
over this sort of thing.
I see you when we're out at Rencullen and watching you over there, and then watching you on the TV at Armoy. Do you know all I hear? Whee!
Literally, that's
because then you're having that's kind of what it doesn't feel like you're trying. It genuinely looks like you're just having a ball.
Yeah, that's it is. That's all it is, and. People kept saying, like, a few people come up to us, especially at the TT, and they said, "Oh, you must have went into that corner pretty hot there." and it was like I actually went in there slower than I should be going in there. Because I'm trying to do stoppies. Like, I'm trying to go into the Craig and do as big a stoppie as I can into the Craig, and then realise I break that early and break that hard, like doing a stoppie, that I've then got to accelerate again to get to the corner.
Scrubbed off too much speed.
But it's just making, I'm not, like, again, like, it comes across sometimes as showing off a little bit, but it's honestly not that. It's because it makes me smile in my helmet, like, because I'm just like buzzing, having fun. Like, if I do a big stoppie in my helmet, I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. Like, oh, that was like,
that's the bit that I love because it's so refreshing.
Yeah.
All the guys we have on the show and the girls that we've had on before as well can all pedal a bike round at a decent level without a shadow of a doubt, but to do it with the enthusiasm that you have is such a refreshing way to see it.
Yeah, I think sometimes it sort of crosses my mind of like, if I what happens if I tried and took it like and tried to have the approach of like most other people and be like, right, I'm not going to do anything that I find fun and just try and go fast, but
you wouldn't be you.
Why change it? Why, like, maybe I'll stop enjoying it then and not want to do it anymore. But more so for me, I don't know. I don't know if it helps. I think it helps me personally. But like, if I'm having fun, I'm going fast, I've always said. And if I don't enjoy it, I don't feel like I go fast. And so I'm just like, why fix something that's not broken? Again, back to that, like, I don't want to fix anything if it's not broke. No. Like, things are going really, really well for me this year, especially, and the results are coming. And yeah, sometimes you want to do a little bit better. Like BSB, I want a few more wins, but it's going well. Like, in general, we're fighting for the championship, and I don't want to completely revamp my own approach to racing find something when it's going really well. And
well, it is your most successful season so far.
Yeah,
on tarmac,
100%. It's going super well, and yeah, I'm having a whale of a time. Like, everywhere I go, every single time I jump on the bike, I'm having the best time. Whether when we come in here testing and seeing how big a stoppie we could do into pit lane and stuff like that, and I'm actually on a bit of a wheelie ban because I've been doing a lot, and the team have been wheelie naughty. Oh, you just...
where have you been? No, where have you wheelie been?
I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm on a wheelie ban.
Is it a wheelie big
team
ban?
Because...
Is it wheelie serious? He's really not happy.
We really need to make him finish this.
We really should stop.
Just want to carry on. Keep going.
I'll leave you to.
No, come on, it goes in Nando's.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Carry on.
So I was doing that many, and I feel like I've been getting really good at wheelies, and doing a lot of them.
What's your dad call a big wheelie?
Was it Big Minger? And it's the first round here. He's actually been basically all year. He was at the TT, and that was pretty much the only race he's got all year. He's been away at work, and it's the kind of message I get from him, and you can probably see where I get enjoying racing from. And he loves it. He's passionate about it. But he'll just text me, and we'll have a laugh because he'll be sat in the camper after qualifying or whatever, and he'll see that qualified pole, and he'll just send me a message, and I'll be like, what does that say? And he's just messaged me going, I hope you pulled a big minger over the finish line to celebrate qualifying on pole.
A message about that than a lap time.
Yeah.
Or like a result, it'd be like great minger over Clay Hill. That was.
Yeah.
Like
Well, literally, where was that? Where it was that at?
I'm sure it was at Alton, and he messaged about it.
Alton, or one of the recent rounds or something, and he messaged saying that was a class wheelie, that, and I'm like, how do you even see that? You're like on the other side of the world working. There's no TV feed, and he can't miss a thing.
Funny thing was though, you'd come in that day and said, oh, I just pulled a big one over here, and then literally 2-3 minutes later, Diesel Dave, fat minger over so and so, and he's like, how has he seen that? It's not even possible. There's no feed. I think it was a day where it wasn't even televised. guys, but he just knew he's got like Minger cam.
Minger cam.
He's put like a GoPro somewhere. Don't be googling that. That's not what you think it's going to be.
Because that's a whole different ballgame.
That's a subscription service.
But yeah, so I think that's definitely where I get it from, and the guys have anyway said that it's maybe started. That I got it earlier in the year, and I think Armoy, they said you need to stop doing that. We heard a lot of guys have come over to the awning and said they did a wheelie all the way down the back straight over the jumps as well, like still wheeling. And they were like, "You'll damage the engine. Like you're causing oil starvation."
Oil starvation.
Like I don't have a clue really how an engine works. So this is just what.
Good.
This might not even.
Just one of spends his life pulling mingers on the back straight.
But like,
Listening, David wants to pull mingers.
They said it damages the engine anyway. it damages the engine anyway. But I said, "Oh, it's all right though," because I did that and then come into the pit lane and I did a big stoppie after it,
which throws all the oil back where it needs to be,
pushes the oil back in. And they just stood there shaking their head, so I'm guessing that doesn't really make sense.
No, I am mechanically clueless,
but yeah, anyways, said best not to do so many.
Okay.
But I honestly can't. I might
save it for your first
might do
win.
a couple. Nobody tell the team.
Save it for that win.
Doing the odd
Managed to send it too hard. Cadwell though.
the odd couple.
Yeah.
Hard, bud.
Yeah, well, that was always was always going to happen. Sending it too hard on the mountain was always going to happen. I believe Jamie Morris caught the image, or one of many.
Yeah, not
Chain coming off.
Yeah, not. I don't think the one with. I have not seen one with a chain off. But, a couple of big ones.
Just because you can.
A few people on practice are like, yeah, but that's not fast. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else is jumping it really big. Like even Brooksy and a couple of the guys who usually like send it real big
Danny
weren't so big. Yeah, Danny for sure, and
Ryan.
And I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. It just seems fast and seems the right thing to do. But I sort of come out of it every lap and do try and jump it. But then, like, the lap time, I came in and my lap time was all right. So I'm like, I'm not going to change anything. No. Like, why?
But if you can go far enough, it does land on a downslope, doesn't it?
Yeah,
if you can go far enough, there's
as long as you get on the top,
oil comes back into the
it all sloshes forward.
As long as you get on the top, it's all right. I think if you jump a bit, then it's like it bounces you back up and then you wheelie and everything. So
full send.
I was like, yeah, full send. Yeah.
So speaking of full send, next weekend, are you going? Oh, rhyming slang. Are you going to introduce Sam to Scarborough?
Oh,
no, he's away, I think.
Oh, you're not doing Oliver's Mount.
Is this going ahead next weekend now? Because obviously it's going to be.
It's a bit up in the air. Isn't
His funeral. I suspect the funeral will be Monday. But the podcast will go out after that. We're going out a week on Friday with this, so this will be last weekend. As I understand it at this point, I think the funeral will be at least on the Monday or the Tuesday.
Right.
It won't be on a weekend.
On Monday.
It'll just be a public holiday. But yeah, you'll miss the ceremony of the service. But going back to Scarborough, podium there last year in the Spring Cup.
Yeah,
on the Wilson Craig bike, and after the first time there since 2018. Oh, some memory, isn't it? I tell you,
2018.
I know these things. These are all the bits that I know. Yeah,
Elephant.
Medium Dave.
That's actually
no elephant about
That's
it.
actually wrong.
I think it was 2018.
17.
Was it 17?
Yeah.
No,
you lied to me.
Crystal ball.
He's hyped it. He's yipped it up too early. He's got it wrong. He's got it wrong.
2017. If he was a proper guest, he'd just go, yeah, 2018, Dave, you're right.
17 on the long shot bike, Harry Corbett. It's one of my first ever road races, I think.
To be fair,
third one.
I've had a busy day, so I'll big myself up on that.
I
was close. You sound like a racer.
I seen you, Dawson, in pit lane earlier. Just chatting, milling about.
It has been a quiet day on the socials, for obvious reasons. Are you looking forward to going back? Assuming that it's on.
I am. Oh, mate, I'm really looking forward to going back. It's my local race. Like, I'm only an hour up the road from Scarborough. It's the closest thing I'm going to get to a local race. So it was awesome to see last year so many like friends and family turn up at Scarborough, like friends not from the racing community, friends from home, and a load of people turn up there. It was awesome to see some like home fans. You realise what that's like, and that was really cool. So that's probably the biggest reason that I'm going back, because it's like a home race. But yeah, I'm excited to see Scarborough get going again. It obviously used to be such a historic, such a big race back in the day, and I want to see it back to that. Who doesn't want to see it back to being a big event? It's the only road race England gets, so why would we not want it to be a big race instead of having to go as well as having to go to the Isle of Man and Northern Ireland to see all the other big road races?
Doesn't it? It fits in with everything else.
We get a big one in England as well, like a big road race, so it'd be super cool to see it back going and a load of top guys there. I'm excited to go back there. As you say, I finished second there last year on the Wilson Craig bike, and we'd literally done half a day, and not even half a day, done about a couple of 20-minute, 15-minute sessions on that Wilson Craig bike beforehand at Kirkestown in Northern Ireland, and last minute deal, and flew over there, tested it, rode it around in the afternoon, and said, yeah, let's spot on, let's go race it, and we just jumped on it and went Scarborough, and then and the weather was iffy and everything, had a weird couple of days, but ended up pulling it together in the main race in the Spring Cup, and finished second to Dean, who in reality is the man round there. So I'm really excited because I'm getting to go on a bike now that the Padgett's bike that I know super well. I've been riding it all year, riding with a team all year, but I've rode that 600 machine at multiple races now. I rode it at the Northwest. We tested it at the start of the year, rode it in the Northwest, rode it at the TT, rode it at Armoy, the Southern. So I've had plenty of miles on that bike now. So I feel really comfortable with that, and it's a really good bike. Padgett's their bikes are always mega. The Malenko by Padgett's bikes are always mega. So yeah, just really excited to go there and see what I can do. Basically how far I can jump over the jumps.
Jeff's going to be the one, isn't it?
Because I did a couple of, I was happy with a few big jumps I did there last year, but I feel like I've upped the game this year with the jumping thing, so I want to
go into Halfords, find those little Barracuda BMXs, take the little chain guards off them.
So we can keep the chain.
Keep the chain on. Well, the thing is, it's not so bad for Jeffrey's jump because you're kind of carrying on downhill, aren't you? So it's going to be fairly smooth landing.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right. It's sort of on a corner, which is a bit one of them.
So was Armoy.
Yeah, so was Armoy. Yeah.
So you square it off and give it a big handful.
I ain't got the big bike though. I'd like to send it on the big bike and see how far I can get on that, but there's no big bikes allowed at Scarborough.
No, unfortunately not.
It's unfortunately not. Something else real special that we're taking there, which I definitely don't want to break, is the 250, which I didn't get to ride at the Classic because we were at Cadwell, which I was gutted about, because that is probably... It's definitely up there with one of the best bikes I've ever rode in my life. That 250, I didn't grow up with, obviously, road bikes, so I didn't ride the 250s like 125s and 250s like most guys did. So to ride that at the Classic TT in 2019 was awesome. I did test that first at Derby circuit. I did 3 laps on it there, high sided it to the moon and end over ended it, and give the guys a big job, and learned how to ride a 250 and 3 Swift Light.
Completely different ball game, isn't it?
Respect that 100 horsepower, because that is more than you think it is on a 250.
Doesn't sound a lot, does it?
Does not. I was like, and everybody's telling you to be careful, and you're like, it's 100 horsepower. Like, I'm used to riding 230 or whatever it is. I was a super bike these days, and 200 plus. Like 100 horsepower is like 600's a lot more than that, but you don't
135, 140, something like that.
Don't take into account the thing doesn't weigh very much at all. It's like half the weight of a super bike, and the power comes in pretty sharpish as well, so it bites. The chassis stiff as well, like they were back in the day, and the bite. Anyway, I figured that out in 3 laps when I sent myself to the moon. And learned how to ride it around the TT as well after, and I loved it. And I've been desperate, begging the guys to let me have a go around Donington or something since, but not a chance with the classic being called off and what have you, but managed to convince him, seeing as we can't get to ride the big bikes around there, the Stocker or the Soup bike, to take another bike. So we still got 2 bikes to ride, so we're taking the 250, which would be cool.
That's going to be class.
Which I'm dead excited about. It scares me a little bit coming out them hairpins and having to clutch it, slip the clutch to get it going. Hopefully I stay seated on it.
I'm sure you will.
I daren't damage it again, to be honest. I had to do a lot of saying sorry after the first time. So
groveling is the word
really
you're looking
sorry.
for. Really sorry.
I will, be trying to stay on it, but I think that's going to be competitive. That class, we've got Joey Thompson, who's always quick on the 250, and Jim Hind, who's definitely the 250 man. He was going strong at the classic TT on the 250. So there's going to be a couple of boys who are very quick on 250s, and those boys as well as a couple of Scarborough specialist, definitely. I don't know if Mike Norbury's going, but he's always fast. He was on the podium there last year. But a few boys definitely who are going to be up challenging us. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited for it.
Brilliant. Let's bring Sam back in one last time.
Still here.
Yeah, you are. He still is sat there politely in the corner.
Starting to think about what I'm ordering in Nando's.
Yeah, 5 more minutes, boys. We've been nearly an hour, which we reckon it was going to be about half an hour, 40 minutes, didn't we?
We can obviously both waffle.
But that's what the idea of the podcast for, isn't it? How do you maintain and manage the rest of the season now, as there are, after this weekend, 3 rounds left, handful of races, title battles closing up? Where do you come into that equation?
My job really now is just maintaining whatever we can in between bike time. Essentially, we've got a couple of things that we're working on physically, a couple of things that are sort of like in the forefront of my mind that I won't divulge until the end of the season. Other than that, it's just maintaining base fitness, and then now sort of just limiting the wear on the body of the amount of bike time that he's subjecting it to, really, because we've got such a stacked schedule, and obviously he's got to go and produce on these one-off events, but we've also got that macro sort of goal in our minds of that championship at the end, which is the main thing for us, really. So obviously we've got 3 rounds left. We've got the rest
4 weekends on the bounce.
Yeah, we've got 6 races.
6 on the bounce.
Yeah, because he's got Scarborough and Goodwood, right?
No, Goodwood's the same weekend as Scarborough. So
is it?
Snetterton, Scarborough, Alton, Donington. Weekend off Brands.
What have you got on the weekend?
No weekend off. Did we talk about that, or do we? We'll gloss over that.
But anyway,
As long as nobody tells the team.
Okay, well, no, let's no, I'm not even going to mention. No. We really don't want to know about that.
Connor's going as well.
Oh, is he?
Connor's going.
Oh, Connor's going as well. But Connor's not fighting for a championship, is he?
Connor's as well.
this is Connor's going.
You didn't have
Connor's
to say
going
anything. You didn't have to say anything. So, for the purpose of this conversation, you've got 5 out of 6 weekends on the tarmac.
Logistically, for me, he's a nightmare because there's a certain amount of things that I want done through the week that make it possible to maintain that kind of exposure on a motorbike. And it's not just about how much you can ride and rest. There's obviously other things that go in place in between that manage to prehab and rehab old injuries, etc. So yeah, it's a bit of it's going to be intense last, what we got, 5-6 weeks, but everything for me sort of, obviously road races and stuff are great because it's what gets him out of bed, and it's obviously that they're financially there for a reason as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, he's not got a paper round. He's doing this to earn a living. But obviously for me, the forefront is the big prize at the end, you know, and it's mega going and getting all these accolades and everything like that. But we're here to do the thing that everyone thought that we were less likely to do. You know, at the end of the day, for us, that's the big carrot, isn't it? That's what we really want. But regardless of whatever happens, even if we didn't ride for the rest of the season, he's had an incredible year, and I couldn't be any prouder to be involved. You know, a very small cog in a big gearbox. But just as his mate, I'm just proud of him, and I'm just so happy to see him get everything that he deserves in terms of his work ethic and his talent and his personality, really. And it's just obviously becoming more and more prevalent in everyone else's minds, and he's becoming a hotter and hotter property.
No question at all. One thing to finish off on, talk to me about your the fitness side of it, your business side of things, how that's developing from SYPC.
Yeah, so the biggest change for us is now that we're sort of looking to move facility and sort of take that to the next level, because obviously it's going to require me to be in the facility a little bit more, but it also means long term I won't have to be in the facility as much anymore, because obviously as we branch out and I can sort of start to delegate, and obviously I'll always keep my guys in my sort of concern, but in terms of scaling a business and employing people and giving a bigger offering as well, because I'd like to really have a one-stop shop and have everything all in-house. Eventually I would like to be able to run education academies and stuff, in terms of you have schooling inside the building so that they can run alongside riding and training.
Learn new words.
So yeah, it would be good to sort of find a facility, but at the moment we've got to purchase a commercial property in terms of how the nature of the investment has come about. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, because nobody wants to sell buildings anymore. Everyone wants to rent them, which is obviously what we want to do. But in terms of having everything all in one place, it's the best thing for us. So that's obviously hopefully going to be quite a big focus of mine next year alongside all this. And I'd like to spend some more time at motocross and stuff next year as well with a lot of the boys. So yeah, it's pretty full on, but we're at a good level at the moment, and everyone's good. I'm not like actively out there sort of searching for more business, but if the right thing comes along, then the right thing comes along, but it has to, like we said before, it has to fit in with the ethos of me and the ethos of the team. And we are a team, and we do a lot together outside of just training and riding.
Bit of golf,
bit of eating.
Yeah, so you keep reminding me about the eating. Who's in the team? Name check your team. At
the moment, just in terms of just who's here at BSB, we've obviously got Davey, Ryan Vickers, who's just next door but one.
He is.
Storm Stacey, Mr. Roach, who's just
Roach
here with you, still looking after Zach Fuller in Stock 6, and Coop as he sort of dips in and out, and we'll maybe see a little bit more of Coop next year. Maybe we won't, who knows.
Fingers crossed. He's still got it, hasn't he? He showed that at Brands.
Yeah, he's never going to lose it.
No,
he is never going to lose it. No. And then just bits and bobs in terms of helping certain people out and stuff that I wouldn't really count as like sort of main factors of the team, but still helping a few boys out here and there, and maybe they'll be a bit more involved next year, who knows. But yeah, that's sort of like the core group, and then the motocross boys and everything as well. It's actually a really sort of nice. No, it might be the fridge. It's been a nice blend and a nice number, and the team's sort of changed a little bit through the year. We've had the coming and goings of a couple of people as well for different reasons and stuff. So Eli at the moment has just gone back over to America, and he might be back next year, we don't know. And I'd really like to see Brandon back here at some point, whether it's this year, next year, or
second that
the year after, and I think that's probably on the cards. Congrats to him just getting engaged.
Absolutely, yeah. Congratulations to Brandon Pash, yeah.
Mayonnaise on the boy, as always. But yeah, in terms of the core of the team, that's where we're at. And yeah, I don't see that changing too much for a while, to be fair. And yeah, it's a good blend of boys. Good blend.
Sounds like it. And we'll have you on a podcast at some point, Jack, if you fancy it.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. You've got to do some good stuff first, though. We don't just have anybody on. You've noticed that, haven't you?
He's got to follow Thruxton up now.
That's it. This is true, yeah. You don't want to flash in the pan. It's got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow, though, eh?
Yeah.
Big performance today, P3 in qualifying.
It's excellent.
Not bad.
From road, good view.
Hopefully the rain stays away, because I'm not a big fan. Are you a big fan of rain?
Yeah, that's all right.
You don't mind it.
It's just what it is. It's just while we're on the podcast, just to finish it off, introduce yourself.
Jack Roach, basically. Born in London, moved to Canada when I was like 4. Started racing when I was like 13. Went to Moto America, kind of like built my career with that, and then came over here 2019, did the Junior Supersport for MSS Performance, Nick Morgan, and then went back to America, rode for Westby Racing, and then literally last year I was in contact with Leon. Leon gave me the awesome opportunity with Affinity to ride his bike for the last 3 rounds, the spare bike. So it was Dad had to do about 8 hours of grafting the day we saw the bike, but it wasn't too bad. And then things led. I went to Spain this winter, trained with the boys, and then now I'm in the team. So kind of following a bunch of kids' footsteps because like the team is great. And then Leon and Ron's plan is basically to get a rider in every single class. So there's definitely a way to get to Superbike, the path that I'm going down. So no, it's definitely good. Everything's positive.
Excellent. There you go. That's not bad for a first time on a podcast, is it? Nailed that.
And Rochi, I want to say about Rochi fitting in with like our sort of program and how laid back he is. And Jack spends a lot of time in here with me, hanging out with us between races and stuff like that. And we were having a good time there at Thruxton. It was super hot, and we had the swimming pool out and stuff like paddling pool, 20 quid from B&M, filled up, and it was actually huge. It was like 3 meters across. Ended up having like half the paddock in it, but. It was we were like chilling in between races, chatting, and Jack was having a good weekend or whatever to that stage, and I'd finished my race and gone up to pit lane, was watching some races and stuff, and next thing I thought he'd gone away to get ready for his race, and I'd just watched that. Was it the Superbike race? It was just before yours. Next thing, he comes running by, just with. Oh no! You come running by first.
I came running by if Pirelli was open
to check,
and then I ran back.
Which Pirelli nearly packed away, running by. Then had to run away, like running back away. And I was seeing he's like sweat pouring off him. It was a hot day, but he's like running all over,
full on sprint.
And,
I don't think anybody else was.
And I'm like, what's he doing? And then next thing, he comes running back up with like 2 wheels in either hand, his back wheel and his front wheel. And I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Like on his own. So I ran over, grabbed the wheel off him. I was like, where are you taking it? And he was like, to Pirelli. I forgot to get my tyres changed.
Well,
there's a whole situation anyway. He didn't realise
I didn't realise I didn't have to run tyre stickers for FP1. And that was the first time in like 3 years.
Thruxton's super hard, for anyone who doesn't know. Yeah. Thruxton is super hard on tyres, so most classes have an extra set of tyre stickers.
But for this class, it was the first time, and I didn't know that. So
because he's that laid back and probably didn't read the regs. Yeah,
running, that was like 25 minutes before.
These final instructions.
Oh, I didn't read them. Yeah, and the team always says read them. I to be honest, I'm not gonna be. I didn't read them today. I didn't.
How do you can't read?
I didn't. Yeah, I can't read.
There's a whole bunch of new words in there.
Yeah, this guy's like an alien. I don't know what he's saying. So no, it was pretty stressful. It was like 25 minutes.
Really stressful.
Oh, come on. So, I mean, I think I managed to get out with like a minute to go.
So. No, it was literally. So this was like
tires were cold.
I looked at this point and he's running up with his wheels, and I'm like, "Isn't your race in like 25 minutes?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "And you're only changing them now? Your tire warmer's usually got to be on for like an hour." An hour before, like in reality more, but like minimum like an hour in an emergency. And this is like 25 minutes before he putting a fresh set of tires on.
They grabbed them out of the black Pirelli truck, so it's like, and they were like, basically, yeah.
He stood there waiting. I'm like, right, you go back, you go get your kit on because you're gonna not even be in your kit in time. I'll bring the tires back, the wheels back to your team. And he ran off then. At this point, I like grabbed the wheels when they'd done them, probably 20 minutes to go at this stage, 15 maybe. Yeah. By the time I got back to the team, it was like definitely 15 minutes to go before his race. And I dropped the wheels off to the team. They start chucking them in the bike. And tops at this stage, he's got the warmers on for like 10-15 minutes at
guess
best.
Tire pressures too. They did it on the grid. They're like, we don't know.
You have to set your tire pressures hot. Yeah. Obviously they're not going to get hot in 15 minutes. I had to guess the tire pressures. Where did you start on the grid?
I started eighth
on the grid.
You finished
First,
And
6.5 seconds.
He got into the lead on lap 1 and cleared off. It was.
Hyped up from trying to get his wheels in.
I honestly
because he's been sprinting around the paddock.
could not believe it. I was like, it always goes one way or the other. You're out full of adrenaline and you just hit the ground running, and or you go the other way and your head falls off, and man, he hit the ground running all right. Shot at the
I gotta do
start.
it every race. It's gotta be a pre-race ritual. And even today, like, I forgot to buy a transponder, so it was like 20 minutes before I was out. And plus, I forgot my tire stickers. So, like, 20 minutes before I was out, Dom texted me, my mechanic. He's like, "Yo, dude, tire stickers, question mark?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think of that." And then he's like, "Oh, you need a transponder too. Like, where's the
I literally
transponder?"
just spoke to Jason about this, and he said you came running to him for 30 quid for the transponder.
Yeah,
No,
because
what?
they were trying to get me to do card, and I was like, and they're like on the app, and I was like, I don't have enough time to go through the app, so I was like, kind of asking her, "Yo, do you have like 30 quid that I could borrow?" So, anyways, I borrowed Cam Dawson's scooter, came back here. It was like probably like 20 minutes, 15 minutes before I was out, so didn't even go out anyways. It was wet, so there's kind of no point rushing around, but hey ho, got a workout in.
We definitely got to do a full podcast.
I thought you'd forgot again for qualifying, because I was stood at the end of pit lane where my garage is, watching everybody come out of pit lane, and I was like, I'm going to film him. He'll do something cool if I wave and film him. And I'm waiting. Everybody comes out, a few more riders, a few more guys out of your team come out. I'm like, where is he? Like, he's not even there.
Well, this morning too, another thing happened. I'm like prone to like situations. I don't know how.
He'll tell you, he'll be like, all these bad things seem to happen to me.
I'll come back here and I'll have like another problem. Like at Cadwell, I lost my wallet with my passport in it. And anyway, so I get...
Not even riding at this point.
I'm a liability, to be honest. But, so at the beginning of the session, I had a little mechanical issue, and it was a yellow flashing light with number 12 next to it. Well, obviously, like, it's a yellow flashing light, and I obviously pulled in because there was something wrong with the bike. Anyways, they're like, "Oh, it was a black and yellow or black and orange flag. You should have pulled off." And I was like, "Oh, I should have done that. Sorry." And they're like, "We're not going to let you back out." And Leon's like, "Yo, run to Stewart." So literally, I ran from Lee Hardy all the way to race control, hopped the fence, fell over. Went up to race control, like out of breath, had to like catch my breath before I walked in, and I go to like steer. I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like, I mean, I am, because like it was totally my fault. It was genuine. He knew it was, and he's like, "Okay, you're all good." And I'm like, "Okay, sounds good." Fuck. Ran back down, and as I'm running down the pit, it starts raining. So I'm like, wow, like better days. But I pulled it out for qualifying, so we're good.
His life could be a TV show. It's
We're going to do a podcast on this, because I feel there's far more stories than we've got time for now, because you boys want to go to Nando's.
Every single time he rocks up to kind there's something.
There's always some kind of story.
It's actually a quiet night in here as well.
Is it?
Yeah, this is a quiet night. It's like a youth club.
Yeah.
We felt like dad and dad.
We're like taking the boys out for dinner, and it felt like
we went out for dinner with him, and it's like we
taking
got
the
two
children
kids,
out.
him and Cameron Dawson.
Somebody's got to do it.
I was in the kids. It's always funny. It's good crap.
Never do.
The good thing is about it all, it keeps you guys young, it keeps you guys happy, it keeps you guys focused on what you've got to do. And if you're bringing these guys on as well, then it's no bad thing, is it? I'm going to wrap it up there, because we could sit here and yarn all night, but you boys have got to eat. I've had my tea, so I don't mind. I can sit here for ages.
I see what
it's 6 o'clock, mate. 6 o'clock tea time for us. That's the difference. I've had my bit. I'm just going to go down to the hotel now and have a couple of beers with whoever boys that are in there. Sam Yassin, Davey Todd, Jack Roach, gentlemen, thank you so much. What an absolute pleasure. We'll definitely catch up again through the winter and look at the preparations for 2023. Best luck for the rest of the season, and for Scarborough, and to the rest of your boys as well. And to you, Sunshine.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Dave.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers,
Thanks
boys.
for having us on.
A big thanks as ever to Sam, Davey and to Jack, and what a great chat. Next week we'll have a couple of chats from Alton Park, which will hopefully include, well at this point at least, Cadwell Park National Superstock race winner Charlie Nesbitt, and then the 6-time BSB champion and his protege who currently leads the British Superbike standings. Fingers crossed we get those ones in the bag, so until next week, look after yourselves. Bye bye.